David Chappelle thing,
Not
people.
believable.
It's, yeah, and he's a unbelievable nigga. That's the truth. Yo, you just see the Dave Chappelle thing, right? Yo, so this nigga Dave Chappelle, let me pull up the video. I don't even know if I got the full thing. Oh, actually, no, it's on YouTube. I put it on my YouTube. So this nigga Dave Chappelle, which here's the funny part about it. And this is why, yo, in Jamaica, right? There's a saying, you don't mess with certain things about people. You don't argue with people or mess with them about their religion and politics. People will kill you about both of them. And it's not just like those particular two topics in isolation. It's about your way of life. When people believe in a way of life, it's cool to debate them to a certain extent, but not emotionally trigger them, because those said people will go to war over said things. Most of the wars in history have been religious wars. Most of the wars in history or some of the most destructive situations that's come through political disagreements, civil war, etc. Shit, what's happening now is not a religious war when it comes to the whole Ukraine and Russia shit. It's shit that's devolved from politics. You know what I mean? It's complicated, complex, higher level politics that could affect certain regions, NATO, all that stuff. So those two things you want to be very careful with. But not to make a third category, because I fit it under, really just way of life, and those two things matter a lot. There's women who are sexy as fuck, but they won't fuck you on the first night, or they're waiting till marriage, because that's their way of life. People take that shit serious. Like, you ever see a bad chick and then she's like super religious, so everything sexually got to go by her religion? That shit determines your life. Hold on. It's similarly with politics. A lot of people, political beliefs is almost as strong as religious beliefs. Anyway, Dave Chappelle's been going at the LGBTQIA plus community for a minute. Going at them in terms of not really necessarily saying yo, fuck them, on some hateful stuff, but making fun of them and just kind of showcasing his own personal, opinions about that. He probably is in question of a lot of stuff with that community, right? Now, again, I'm straight, and I think a lot of y'all here are straight, and y'all could be like, it sounds funny, blah, blah. Can't you take a joke? And by the way, we African Americans, or we're just black, so we use that line a lot to say to people, well, people, for example, you don't get a Chris Rock, you don't get a Bernie Mac, you don't get a Steve Harvey, you don't get a Cedric the Entertainer, you don't get a lot of these famous comedians, you don't get a Richard Pryor, you don't get an Eddie Murphy, without them being able to explore racial dynamics and the difference between races. So there's always been jokes made at the expense of black people, white people, just people of a certain race. Now, here's the thing about the whole woke movement. The whole woke movement has created a new, they cover everybody who's in the movement where you can't even joke about them. You know what I mean? If you want to make a joke about a dude who's fat, you can make that joke. Nobody's like, oh my God, cancel him. He's fat shaming. No. If you want to make a joke about somebody's white, you definitely can. If you want to make a joke about somebody black, you can. But the LGBTQIA plus community, certain factions of you can't. So Dave Chappelle's been doing that, been pushing the line. They wanted Netflix to cancel him. Netflix didn't cancel him, notoriously. And you could tell some people just ain't fucking with it. Now, here's the thing. When people realize that the cancellation won't work, people start taking things in their own hands. And now I'm repeating some of these things that I believe are fact, but I don't know entirely if they are. For example, I hear the guy who attacked Dave Chappelle last night is a guy who is of the transgendered, selection. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm going to play a piece of the video right here, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more. So he's on stage. You're going to see somebody kind of hop on stage, and you're going to see.
For hip-hop history.
Yeah, so it's a close-up right there. So the guy kind of spares him, or tries to spear him, and then you can see right there, bunch of people to the left, run in. People are all surrounding. They basically corner this dude. Ironically enough, it's not only security and other, people who are working for the event staff, but apparently Jamie Foxx and Busta Rhymes, they're in it too. And they're fucking giving this nigga the beast. They're giving this nigga the A-Town stomp. Like, they're putting fucking Timberland prints in his fucking face. And, luckily, Dave Chappelle, at least currently, he was not reported hurt. Okay. Now, clearly, the people had a joke about it afterwards. But this is where it gets a little serious, right? And let me see if I could. Let me go to my Instagram. So apparently the guy who rushed Dave Chappelle had this with him. He had a gun, but it wasn't a gun because it can't fire a bullet. But when you press the trigger, there's a knife that's folded in that will snap out, and it almost becomes like, it's kind of like a projectile if you're running with it, and you could kill somebody with it. So he rushed Dave Chappelle with a gun/knife, and I don't know if he didn't take it out at first, but when he kind of speared him, it don't look like he had it with him because we would have heard Dave Chappelle getting stabbed, or at least stabbed once or so. And this is how it looks. So it looks like this when it's out, pause, and it looks like this when it's in. So when the blade is in, it's this. When it's out, it's on the left.
Oh, nigga, that's a cutter. That's a cutter, bro. Would have been done for.
Yo, so here's what I'm saying, man. Yo, this is what I think, in reality, Will Smith fucked up at. Will Smith just reminded everybody that comedians on stage could get touched too. And I'm going to be honest with you, I blame Will Smith for this. Not saying that it's the first time niggas have attacked comedians. We've seen some shit happen with didn't somebody approach like Mike Tyson or somebody, even though Mike Tyson was really doing comedy, it was a comedy show. But what Will Smith kind of proved is that you could assault a comedian and have little to no ramifications. The majority of crazy people in this world are pussy. And what I mean by that, they're not going to be crazy in situations. Like, for example, you ever heard of a crazy nigga going to the hood where everybody may have a gun and just start going crazy? No, because they're thinking that, these niggas about to kill me. You know where they go to? Churches, schools. They go to places where they feel or they know that there's going to be defenseless people, which they have a clear advantage. You get me? And what happens with a lot of people who are off, they choose situations where people are weak. I believe Will Smith, when he did what he did with Chris Rock, and he had little to no ramifications, gave a big example of why assaulting a comedian, you don't really have much repercussions. Now, granted, he tried to do his bullshit. This guy got his hand broken, got his face stomped in, this, that, and third. But going into it, I think he was emboldened by a situation like that. Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. By the way, I hear the guy was transsexual. What you think about this, Boom?
Transgender. So you don't get cancer.
Mocap 2K says Boom is right.
Yeah, am I right?
Yeah. That nigga been following me for almost a goddamn year, and his first time he ever chatted was to say Boom is right about transsexuals.
Real nigga. Real ass nigga.
He might be a real ass transsexual.
Nigga had to pop out the shadows like, yeah, this nigga right.
All right, so wait. Is Caitlyn Jenner a transsexual or a transgendered?
She's transgender. They're transgender. I don't fucking know what that is. Like, that nigga's transgender. That nigga's transgender. Yeah. Because he still fucks men. Or bro, that motherfucker fucks men. So.
Yo, I was watching a Full Send podcast about Caitlyn Jenner. And, it feels weird saying shorty because when I refer to women, I say
just say like damn or like motherfucker or some shit. You don't want a nigga. You don't want it, bro. They'll catch you for anything.
Yeah, I. That motherfucker said. That motherfucker said. Okay, but what pronoun do I use? Is it he, she, they?
just say they, bro. You just say they, bro. Just say that
Okay.
nigga or like that motherfucker.
That motherfucker said that they cut they penis off. For real.
The way you worded it, you was playing so safe.
No, I'm serious. Nigga, I watching the full section. It was like, oh, they cut their penis off. And I'm like,
they do that. Like, you know they like cut their penis off and turn it into like a pussy?
What you mean?
Bro, they like cut their dick, like, bro, like, imagine like a fucking, like, pause, but like a sausage. And you split it in half down the middle. Like, all the way down the middle. They cut it like that and they reverse it so it looks like a pussy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what you talking about
right
really, now, boom?
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, you can, like they really turn their dick into a pussy, bro. I'm pretty sure.
All right, man, yo, we getting too graphic, man. What do you think about this motherfucker pulling up with a Glock knife?
I feel like that nigga's goofy as fuck, bro. Nigga can't take a fucking joke. Like, it's Dave Chappelle, nigga. You don't put your fucking hands on Dave Chappelle, nigga. What the fuck is wrong with you? Take a fucking joke, bro. Take your ass home.
Yo, well, here's the interesting part about it. I think Dave Chappelle is getting very close to people from that community not identifying with what he's saying anymore as jokes. You know, because usually with a joke, put like this. A joke is, all right, say you come on stage and be like, yo, look at that fat ass nigga in the crowd right there. That's a joke, right? You said it once, cool, you move on. If every fucking show, or for the last 6 months, you're only known to just to give fat jokes.
True. Bro, that's not true. Like, even if that was the case, nigga, so? Like, you know what I mean?
I feel, hold on. Listen. I feel like some of the transgenders are feeling like Dave Chappelle is bullying them. That's why he pulled out the Glock knife.
You know, you can't be bullied over a fucking joke. He not out here saying, bro, he not going to these niggas like protesting, like, look at these dumbass niggas doing like, he had one of his stand-ups. He said one of his like closest fans was a trans woman, and he talked all about how, like, so he don't hate trans people. Like, he basically want to say, like, y'all not finna tell me what the fuck the joke about. Like, y'all not finna tell me how to joke. Like, what the fuck? Like, how can you joke about every fucking body in the world? Niggas, bro, white niggas, Asian niggas make black jokes all the fucking time. They make whole shows about it, movies about it. And then to say you can't say nothing about them, like, understand if you actually speaking out of hatred. But if you saying it as a joke, you got a punchline, you got a setup.
Yeah, hold on. But is there a thin line between, okay, enough jokes, you're now being malicious? Like, if every day I got online and I was not doing
that. He's not doing that every day. It's just a show.
Well, I know he's not doing it every day, but I think these dudes, right, or like these people, right, of whatever, like, you know, affiliation, they're looking at like, yo, homie, you've been on this, you know, LGBTQIA plus shit for like the last like 6 months. Like, get off our dicks or lack of dicks, nigga.
Get off our dicks or pussies.
Yeah. Apparently this nigga got a song. Let's see if we can hear it. I want to hear this shit.
I bet.
Yeah, so apparently, right, the I don't even, do I call him a guy or not a guy?
Just say that motherfucker, bro. Trust me. Just say this nigga. Like,
okay.
Prolific producers that hip hop has ever presented, the mighty Mad Lib. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for hip hop history.
You're muted, B. You're muted.
Yeah. So, chat, pardon my ignorance and everything. So, like, I don't know if this is true, but I don't know if he's trans or not, but what I do know is that this guy could have possibly did this for attention. Like, I'm wondering if the trans angle is only coming up because people just think the whole trans community hates Dave Chappelle. Bro, if you ask me, I'm listening to the music he just made. Bro, he seemed like a nigga who just wants a moment type shit. You feel me?
I mean, when Dave Chappelle said that he was trans, like,
he said that afterwards.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So that's probably why niggas think that.
Bro,
he said it.
The nigga spared you before you could even like say what the fuck. Like, he spared you and y'all was beating his ass. How you know he was trans? How you know he's trans while you beating his ass?
I mean, true, but he just said. I'm just saying. He probably said it as a joke too.
Nigga, no, that's a funny joke. Just like, what do you call it again? Chris Rock came on stage later on, and he did a set before Dave Chappelle, but he came on later on, and he was like, "Yo, damn," he was like, "Yo, I thought that was Will Smith." Like, it makes sense. That's a funny joke for Chris Rock. Oh, I thought that was Will Smith, and for for Dave Chappelle, he's like, "Oh shit, that guy must be in the LGBTQIA plus community." Just look, the nigga just hops on stage.
And Lil. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for hip hop history.
Yo, here's the funny part too, though. All right, I don't mean to analyze this video like too crazy, but he tackles. Yo, if he has this fake gun that's a knife, he tackles. Which, by the way, is crazy that he gets into a comedy show with that. He tackles Dave Chappelle, but instead of like, bro, if you're trying to hurt him or kill him, you're not gonna tackle him and then run away. You're gonna fucking pull out the weapon